Welcome in to life, love, and the rest of it, where the night slows down and the heart finally has room to speak.
It look like marble. You see? Yeah, that's marble, like tombstone marble. To Kill a Mockingbird, the color purple. Look at that. Charlotte's Web, that's my favorite movie. I love that movie. The Old Man in the Sea. I think I read that when I was a little girl. Charles Dickens. We never tire of the friendship we form with books. I've read that book. I know I read The Old Man in the Sea. But I read that when I was a little girl. Charlotte's Web, my favorite movie. Life of The Color Purple down there, To Kill a Mockingbird. The Chemist, the Alchemist. It's a movie called The Alchemist, right? Welcome back to Life, Love, and the Rest of It. This is where we talk about everything that makes us human. The quiet moments, the loud ones, the healing, and the becoming. This is a space for real conversation, the kind that doesn't rush, the kind that lets you sit with what you feel and maybe even hear yourself a little clearer. I'm back in Baltimore, as we already know, and I want you to see some videos and some pictures of downtown Baltimore. Not downtown Baltimore, North Carolina for a moment, because Fayetteville had its own kind of silence, and I didn't get to really show any videos that I made downtown. But downtown Fayetteville was quiet in a way that didn't feel too peaceful. It felt empty. Barely any traffic, streets that looked like they were waiting on something that never came. Coming from Baltimore, a place where the city hums even on its worst days, Fayetteville felt like the whole world had turned the volume all the way down. I remember standing and thinking, this can't be it. This can't be all there is. A downtown with no movement, no rhythm, no heartbeat, just quiet. And when you're already going through something, when you're hurting, when you're scared, when you're trying to figure out how you ended up in a place you never planned to be, that kind of quiet can feel loud. It made me miss home, not the problems, not the pain, but the pulse, the life, the noise that lets you know you're still part of something. Fayetteville was the opposite of Baltimore, and that contrast, it stayed with me. Before I move into the song, I want to leave you with a few questions. The kind you don't rush through, the kind you sit with. What part of your life feels like it's under construction right now? What are you rebuilding, and what are you finally ready to tear down? Where have you been quiet for too long, and what truth is asking to be spoken? What did life take from you that you're finally ready to reclaim? And most importantly, what part of you is asking for gentleness today? Hold those questions for a moment. Let them settle. Let them breathe. Because the next part of the song, you're about to listen to the lyrics. It was born from those same questions. This is where inner prayer begins. Today, we're stepping into something deep. something that lives right between the spirit and self. We're talking about what it means to be worldly and what it means to come back to yourself, especially in a world that's always asking you to look outward. And I'm going to share something personal with you. A song I co-wrote, something that feels less like performance and more like a prayer. So wherever you are, just take a breath with me. Slow down for a moment and let's step into this together. Before I read this, I want to say this isn't just a song to me. It's something that came out of quiet moments, the kind where you're not trying to impress the world, just trying to understand yourself. And as we talk about being worldly today, this is what came up for me. Silent prayers rise in the quiet, the kind that live in the breath between thoughts, the kind that doesn't need a name, don't need a temple, don't need witness, just a heart willing to open. I've carried storms inside my chest, held my breath through seasons that tried to bend me past breaking. But even in the shadows, a small light stayed, a soft truth, a reminder that love begins right here with me. There's a quiet kind of faith that rises when I'm still, a tender kind of hope that doesn't ask for proof. It lives beneath the noise and the softness of my soul, and it tells me I can't love you till I learn to love me too. These are my silent prayers floating through the open air, not tied to any name, not bound to any place. Just love for every soul, a widening of space. And I can't love you right till I love myself true. So I'm healing in the quiet and sending light to you. I've walked through lonely nights with only my heartbeat for company. I learned to hold my own hand, to speak gently to my reflection, to forgive the parts of me that were slow to grow. And in that softness, I found room for everyone else. Love is a circle, and it starts at the center. If I abandon myself, I abandon the world. But when I return to me, I return to everyone. May your peace be yours, whatever peace means. May your heart stay open through the spaces in between. May your faith be free, your journey your own, and may love return to you the way it's returning to me. These are my silent prayers, carried on gentle air, for the ones I know, the ones I'll never meet, for the brave, the broken, the strong, the incomplete. And I can't love you right till I love myself. True. So I'm healing in the quiet and sending light to you. Yeah, that right there, that's where this conversation really lives. Because when we talk about being worldly, a lot of times we're talking about everything outside of us. The expectations, the labels, the image, the noise, the pressure to be something instead of becoming something. And what this song is really saying is that there's another way, a quieter way, a deeper way, not one that's trying to perform, but one that's trying to heal. When I say the kind that don't need a name, don't need a temple, I'm not rejecting faith. I'm talking about those moments where it's just you and your heart. No audience, no structure, just honesty. Because sometimes the most real connection you'll have isn't loud, it's quiet. And then there's this part. I can't love you till I learn to love me too. That line right there, that's the shift. Because the world will teach you how to love outward first. It'll teach you how to show up, how to be chosen, how to be accepted. But it doesn't always teach you how to sit with yourself, how to be gentle with yourself, how to not abandon yourself just to belong somewhere else. And that's where a lot of us get lost, trying to love others from a place we haven't even returned to in ourselves. When I wrote love is a circle and it starts at the center, I meant that literally and spiritually. Because if I lose myself in trying to be everything the world expects, then I'm not really loving anyone fully. But when I come back to myself, when I heal, when I sit in truth, when love doesn't just go outward, it expands. It becomes softer, more honest, more real. So when I think about being worldly, I don't just think about the outside world. I think about anything that pulls me away from myself. Anything that tells me, be this, look like this, prove this, instead of asking, who are you really underneath all of that? And maybe, just maybe, the opposite of being worldly isn't leaving the world. It's learning how to stay in it without losing your soul. I want to give you a picture of what this song really means, not in theory, but in real life. Imagine someone who's always been strong for everybody else. The one people call when things fall apart. The one who shows up, holds space, gives love, even when they're empty themselves. On the outside, they look like they have it all together. They smile, they function, they keep going. But on the inside, they're tired of holding everything, tired of not being held. And one night, not because everything fell apart, but because they just couldn't keep pretending, they sit in silence. No music, no phone, no distractions. Just them in their own breath. And for the first time, instead of asking, what does everyone else need from me? They ask, what do I need right now? And the answer doesn't come loud. It doesn't come as a big breakthrough. It comes as something small, something soft. Be gentle with yourself. That moment right there, that's the song. That's the silent prayer, not something performed, not something spoken out loud, just a quiet return to yourself. And this is where I want to say something real, because I feel like somewhere along the way, music started losing its meaning. Not all of it, but a lot of it. We've gotten so used to music being about movement, about dancing, about turning up, about what hits in the moment, that anything that asks you to sit still, to feel something, to reflect, people call it boring. It don't make me move. It's not a vibe. But what if the problem isn't music? What if it's that we've lost the patience to sit with something that doesn't distract us? When I made this song, I didn't make it to go viral. I didn't make it to have people dancing across the floor. I made it on purpose. Every word, every title, every line was written to mean something. Something that sits with you, something that stays with you after the music stops. Because for me, the music and the podcast, they go together. This isn't just content, this is connection. This is for the person who's been through something, who's trying to find their way back to themselves. And maybe, just maybe, a song can help refresh their thoughts and remind them they're still there. Before we close, I just want to take a moment to say what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that I was able to raise 3 children, and I never expected to be perfect. I'm thankful that whatever life is teaching them right now, they're learning it in their own way, that they're independent, and they're taking life as it comes. And as much as I would love to always be there for them, I had to accept that I can't always be. I tried. And maybe that just wasn't meant to be the way I imagined it. But I still have faith in their journey. And I want to say something else, something personal. I do have faith, but I've always struggled with this idea that I have to explain it or prove it or announce it to the world. And this isn't about disrespecting anyone else's belief, because I do respect what people believe. Truly. If something gives you peace, if something brings you closer to love, I respect that. But for me, my relationship feels personal. It's not something I feel the need to broadcast. It's something I carry quietly in my heart. I'm not a preacher. I've never said I know everything about the Bible, because I don't. I've read it. I've experienced what I would call a godly presence in my life. But I'm still learning, just like everyone else. And even when it comes to sharing testimony, for me, it feels very intimate, something sacred. Not something I always feel comfortable putting out there publicly. Not because it's not real, but because it's personal. That's why when I podcast, I'm not trying to preach to anyone. I'm not trying to tell you what to believe or how to believe it. I just want to create a space where people can feel, reflect, and maybe reconnect with themselves. Because at the end of the day, whether you call it faith or growth or healing, that quiet place inside of you matters. So I want to leave you with a few questions, not to answer right away, but just to sit with. Where in your life have you been showing up for everyone else, but not for yourself? What does love look like when you turn it inward? Are you living from your center, or are you living from what the world expects of you? And when everything gets quiet, do you feel at peace with yourself, or are you still searching? Just sit with that. You don't have to have everything figured out to begin again. You don't have to explain your healing or rush your growth. And don't be afraid of your growth. Some people may feel like they've already reached their full potential. But growth doesn't stop unless you decide it does. You're allowed to evolve, to learn, to change your understanding of life as you go. And if your story can inspire someone, you can share that part. Not to tell people to follow you, but just to remind them it's possible. But at the same time, you don't have to tell everyone your prayers. And you don't have to tell everyone your ideas. Some things are meant to stay between you and God, or between you and yourself. Because not everything needs an audience to be real. Prayer to me isn't something I need to perform or explain. It's thankfulness, it's forgiveness, and it's thinking about others. And sometimes when your prayers are selfless, they come back to you in ways you didn't expect. They bring peace, calmness, a feeling that even if life doesn't go the way you planned, it's still going to be okay. Not perfect, not always how you want it, but okay. You don't have to share everything to be real. Protect what's sacred to you and keep growing anyway. You're allowed to grow quietly. You're allowed to heal without an audience, and you're allowed to keep what's sacred, sacred. This is life, love, and the rest of it. Take what you need from this moment, leave what you don't. And wherever life meets you next, just remember to meet yourself there too. I'm Iris, and I'll meet you in the next conversation. Today is a reminder that no matter what you've walked through, there is still a part of you reaching forward. Not loudly, not perfectly, just steadily. You are allowed to grow at your own pace, to rise without rushing, to heal without announcing it. Every step you take, even the small ones, is proof that you are still becoming something stronger, something wiser, something more aligned with who you truly are. And one of the steps is listening to my podcast. And if today felt heavy, let this be your reminder. You made it through. You're here. You're trying. And that alone is a quiet kind of victory. This is Iris.